Right, good. So, hi guys. Tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're watching this, we're going to be speaking with Justine Hales today. And so, well, Justine, you tell me, what do you do and how do you do it?
Oh, well, thank you, Philip, for the opportunity to be interviewed by you today, this evening, this morning, whenever your viewers are
You're
watching.
welcome.
Hello out there. I'm Justine Hales, and I'm a brand ambassador for Kannaway, which is the premier brand of CBD and hemp products with Hemp for Humanity. So I'm working from home at the moment, as is a lot of people, I guess.
So Kannaway is all about CBD, isn't it?
Correct.
And that seems to be getting some traction at the moment. There's a lot about CBD in the news, and I have to admit that when I've heard you talk about CBD before, all the different things that are used CBD in, manufacturing of plastics and those kind of things, I never knew any of that.
Well, it's hemp. I mean, the hemp plant itself has probably about 50,000 different industrial uses. I mean, from plastic bottles to textiles to biofuels to, gosh, I don't know, loads. There's so many things. I mean, up until the 1900s, about 90% of medication was cannabis derived, and but we're living through the prohibition of hemp, and we're certainly coming through that now. So the prohibition is definitely coming out the other side.
Do you think that the reason why they don't use hemp is down to the cost of manufacturing, or is it more political, do you think?
More political.
Yeah.
So I mean, the history of hemp is actually really, really interesting. And the history of hemp goes back like over 10,000 years, basically.
Wow.
All the way to like a woven fabric found in Turkey, down to the 10th century Viking settlement in York. Was when the first hemp seeds were discovered in Britain. And the English Navy was basically founded on hemp production because of the sails and the cordage and the ropes and everything like that. So, I mean, it has been a part of our culture for a very, very long time.
Brilliant.
Up until sort of the 1920s, when 1920s and 30s, in the US, when there were just quite a lot of industries basically that helped to lump hemp together with its naughty cousin, marijuana.
What's that? I don't know what you mean.
It's the other cannabis plant.
The naughty one, yes.
Yeah. So it basically got outlawed. I mean, so today we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Google, we have WhatsApp, we have basically a zillion different sources of information and all kinds of noise coming at us at the moment, and you have to sift through all of the noise. But back then there was really pretty much only print news. And there was a person. Are you familiar with William Randolph Hearst?
Not personally, no.
Yeah, well, he owns the majority of the newspapers and the majority of the forests in the US back at that time.
And the forests as well.
Yes, the forestry industry.
Wow.
And hemp, you can make paper out of hemp. So wood pulp that comes from hemp is a good source of paper for printing on as well. So hemp was basically just cramping the style of quite a lot of industry at that time. And there was a media campaign then called The Devil's Weed. And then that led to the Marijuana Tax Act, which basically then just made the production of industrial hemp difficult, because it then became very expensive, and taxation and everything like that. So is hemp expensive to grow now? I don't know, but it certainly made it difficult 80 to 100 years ago.
I think it's quite easy to grow, isn't it? It's just put the seeds in and then just let it grow.
Well, yes.
I'm not a gardener myself, you can tell, can't you?
Yes, I mean, but you don't necessarily want to consume a product that comes from a crop of seeds that have just been kind of planted anywhere anyhow. It needs to be done
Absolutely.
correctly in organic farms, and no herbicides, no pesticides, things like that.
And how long have you been with Kannaway?
Less than a year.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how are you finding it?
Amazing.
Is it good?
Yeah, it is good. I think one of the things that I personally love about the company, and something that I just didn't understand about network marketing prior to now, is how much self development and how much mindset work and how much, like, yeah, just personal development actually happens in this type of business.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And actually, personally, without going too far into my personal journey, I've benefited almost more from all of that than anything else. And the community and the team that I'm in, and the upline and the sponsors that I have access to, and the training that's available to us, it's just a phenomenal way of doing business.
So it's worked for you. It's helping you grow as a person, and kind of, is it changing your direction in life, do you think? Instead of just being a job, it's more about a vocation, and
Oh, certainly.
helping you become a better person within yourself, do you think?
Definitely. I first came to the business as a customer first anyway, because I started to using the products. And it was after using the products and finding that benefit personally and using the products is when I kind of looked at it as a business for all the circumstances I was in at the time. And it's also all about the people. There are a lot of different online businesses to look at. There's a lot of different products and services out there. There's a lot of great products and services out there. But the important thing was to find a company that I wanted to align with, because the products were so incredible and they worked so well for me.
Yeah.
But it was also about aligning myself with a company that I really believe in the ethics of, and I really believed in the team that I'm working with. And
Yeah.
of all of the different businesses that I evaluated and that I could have evaluated, I the people that I'm working with are the people that I wanted to work with.
Absolutely. And so now, obviously, we're going through some unprecedented times. Things are quite scary out there. How has that affected your business right now?
Well, it hasn't been negatively impacted.
That's good.
Yeah. With all of the negative stuff that's all over the place. I mean, it certainly hasn't been. It's a time for change, and a time for adaptation, and a time for, I mean, everybody's having to adapt and learn different ways of working and everything. I mean, this is an online business. Of course, there's a lot of aspects of the business that work face to face as well, networking and inviting people into homes for home business reviews and to try the products, touch them, see them, everything like that, because it is a products based business. But online is the opportunities are there, and as I said, like the team is adapting in so much as like on a Monday night we have a live virtual home business review where people can log in. It's on Zoom, and I think it's about 30 minutes long. It's basically a simulated home business review, so it's inviting people into the home virtually to watch a couple of videos just about what CBD is, how it works in the body, and touch a little bit on the business. And then for people who want to evaluate the business a little bit further, there's a Wednesday night, more in-depth business presentation. That one takes close to an hour. And that one it digs deep into the products. It digs deeper into the science. And then obviously it digs a lot deeper into the actual business.
Yes.
And then for those people who are still evaluating the business, or who have then joined, is on a Saturday morning, is going to be a weekly new member orientation. And the new member orientation is very much for people who have either just joined the business and are getting their orientation. It's for people who have been in the business for a while and kind of need to be reoriented. But it's also for people who are still evaluating the business, who have watched Monday, they've watched Wednesday, they might just still have a few more questions about how it works and how it practically works and what it really means. And then by that point, people will either join or not join.